Do you ever feel like you're constantly saying, I don't have time? It's such a common phrase, isn't it? We feel stretched, overwhelmed, like there just aren't enough hours in the day. And yet, here's a truly surprising truth. Every single person on this planet gets the exact same 24 hours, same amount. So what's the real difference between those who, achieve their goals and those who feel constantly behind? Today in the Deep Dive, we're digging into some really insightful excerpts from a book called How to Use Your 24 Hours, Turn Your Time into Success. Our mission for you is to unpack the most valuable nuggets from these pages, to help you shift from simply spending your time to truly investing it. We're going to explore why time is actually, far more valuable than money, and how some pretty small shifts can lead to massive results. So if we all get the same 24 hours, what's really going on when we claim we don't have time? The book challenges that excuse right away, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And what's fascinating, I think, is its immediate focus on just awareness. The source introduces the simple but honestly incredibly powerful concept, the time audit.
A time audit. Sounds a bit formal, like for taxes or something.
Yeah, it does sound that way, but it's not about judgment. It's really about clarity. It's basically tracking everything you do for 24 hours.
Everything.
Everything. Honestly, no judgment from when you wake up to when you sleep. The book emphasizes that word audit like a careful check, but for your time. And it argues time is more valuable than money. Why? Because you can't earn more time. Once a minute's gone, it's gone forever.
Right. You can always make more money, theoretically. But time.
Exactly. So the process is pretty straightforward. 3 steps. First, you track it all. Notebook, phone, whatever works. Be brutally honest. Social media, TV, staring into space. Write it down. The goal is just to see it.
Okay. No self-criticism, just observation.
Precisely. Step 2.
Oh.
Review your day with clear eyes, as the book puts it. Ask yourself, what was useful? What felt wasted? What actually surprised me? The key idea here is awareness is power. You can't change what you don't notice.
Makes sense. And the third step?
Third, you categorize everything. Put it into 3 buckets. Time wasters, things like mindless scrolling, gossip, stuff with no real long-term value. Then maintenance tasks, eating, showering, commuting, necessary stuff, but maybe you can make it more efficient.
Right, the must-dos.
And finally, growth time. This is the gold. Learning, practicing skills, exercising, planning, working on your goals, the whole point. Reduce the wasters, streamline maintenance, and actively grow your growth time.
It's amazing what pops out when you do that. The book gives this example, right? Someone finally they spent 3 hours on YouTube or TikTok.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Compared to maybe just 30 minutes of reading or actually learning something. That's a huge gap when you see it laid out. Think about that for learning English. If you find just 15 focused minutes a day, that adds up to over 90 hours in a year.
It's massive.
But you have to find those minutes first, or rather, see where they're hiding.
That's exactly it. The big takeaway here is most people don't actually lose time. They just don't track it. The audit isn't meant to make you feel bad. It's just about giving you that clear picture so you can choose differently.
Okay, so the audit shows us where the time is going. But what about that feeling, that constant phrase, I don't have time? The book tackles that head on, too.
It really does. It basically calls it a myth, that feeling of no time.
A myth? How so?
Well, the source says time isn't something you find like, lost keys. Time is made. It's made by the choices you make about how you use your minutes. Every single minute. It compares it to being careful with small change. If you don't pay attention to the pennies and dimes, you end up broke. Same with minutes.
I like that analogy. Small moments matter.
Exactly. And that leads to this idea called the 5-minute rule.
Okay.
If a task takes 5 minutes or less, just do it. Now, don't put it off. But the deeper idea is using those small 5-minute windows productively, like waiting for the bus, instead of just scrolling.
You could learn a few English words.
Oh,
Or practice the sentence in your head.
Precisely. Or listen to just a couple of minutes of an English podcast. Tiny actions. But they add up. Do that, say, 3 times a day. That's 15 minutes. Almost 2 hours a week. 8 hours a month.
Wow, just from those little gaps.
It's the whole micro actions build mega results concept. So many people wait for the perfect time to start something big.
Yeah, I'll start studying seriously when things calm down.
Right. Or when I have a whole free weekend. But the book says, look, that perfect time, it almost never shows up. High achievers don't wait. They take small, consistent steps. 1 sentence, 1 new word, 1 page read. Consistency beats intensity over time.
So it's about grabbing those little moments.
Yes, and recognizing your time gaps are gold. Those bits of time waiting for coffee, stuck in traffic, standing in line, that lull after lunch.
We usually just waste them, don't we? Check our phones again.
Totally. But what if you used half of them intentionally? Quick flashcard review on an app, listen to English music actively, silently describe your surroundings in English. You don't always need big blocks. You need intentional moments.
There's also that mindset shift the book suggests, which I thought was really powerful. Instead of, I don't have time, say,
It's not a priority for me right now.
yes. That feels much more honest, doesn't it? Sometimes it isn't a priority, and that's okay. But for the things you say you want, like learning English, it forces you to admit, okay, I could make time. I'm just choosing not to prioritize it.
Yeah.
Puts the control back with you.
It really does. It's empowering, actually. The book shares this story about Anna worked 2 jobs, felt she had 0 time, but she made English a priority, used her commute for podcasts, recorded her voice practicing for just 2 minutes each night. Tiny things.
And it worked.
Significantly. Her spoken English improved more in 6 months doing that than in years of just thinking about it or occasional classes. She didn't wait for time. She used the time she had, those little gaps.
Okay, so we find the time, we use the small moments. What about starting the day right? The book talks about morning momentum.
Right, momentum, like getting a bike rolling, right. Once it's moving, it's easier to keep it going. The first hour can set the tone for the whole day.
So the classic morning routine idea.
Exactly. Lots of successful people have one. But here's what the book calls the big secret.
Oh, you do tell.
You don't actually have to wake up at 5 a.m. to crush your day. That works for some, but it's a bit of a myth that it's the only way.
Okay. That's a relief for some of us.
Right. What truly matters isn't when you wake up, but how you wake up and what you do in that first crucial hour. The book lays out a simple but really effective 3-part routine. First, wake with intention.
Meaning,
don't just grab your phone the second your eyes open. Pause, take a breath, sit up, maybe even smile. Say something positive to yourself. Today's a new opportunity. I choose progress. Simple stuff.
okay, intentional start. What's next?
Second, move your body, wake your brain. Just 2 to 5 minutes. Stretching, jumping jacks, a quick walk around the room, get the blood flowing, release those energy chemicals.
Doesn't have to be a full workout then. Just move.
Just move. And third, this is key. Feed your mind first. Choose what you consume before the world throws stuff at you. Read 1 page of an English book. Jot down some thoughts. Review your goals. Do this before checking email, news, or social media. You decide what goes in first.
So you're training your focus right from the start. Avoid the distractions.
Exactly. The core advice is simple. Breathe, move, focus. That builds momentum.
Okay, so we've got momentum. But how do we keep that productive energy going all day without just, spinning our wheels?
This is where the book draws a really vital line in the sand between deep work and busy work.
Deep work versus busy work. Okay, what's the difference?
Deep work is when you're fully concentrated, 0 distractions, focused on one important, demanding task. It's that feeling of being in the zone. You're making real progress. For English, it might be studying a tricky grammar point, writing an essay, really focused speaking practice.
Got it. High concentration, high value.
Right. And busy work. Well, it looks like work. You feel active. but you're not really achieving anything meaningful towards your goals.
Like constantly checking email. Or reorganizing your notes instead of studying them.
Exactly. Or passively watching English videos without trying to use the language. It often feels easier, safer than the hard stuff. It's a form of procrastination sometimes.
I can see that.
The source really hammers this home. Focus is your superpower, especially today with endless distractions. Deep work is where the real learning happens, where you get results. For language learners, deep work equals faster language learning. Seriously. 30 minutes of truly focused study phone off. No other tabs open can be way more effective than 2 hours of half-distracted studying.
Because you actually absorb it better.
You absorb faster, remember longer, and build skills more effectively.
So how do we do deep work? Any practical tips?
Yeah, the book suggests a simple system. First, set a timer. 25 minutes is good, the Pomodoro technique, then plan a 5-minute break. Second, choose one specific task. Not study English, but something concrete like learn 5 new phrasal verbs and write sentences for them.
Specificity matters.
Hugely. Third, eliminate distractions. Phone off or in another room. Close unnecessary tabs. Find a quiet space if you can. And fourth, maybe the hardest part. Just start, even if you don't feel motivated. Action often creates focus, not the other way around.
And how do you know if you're just doing busy work?
Ask yourself this simple question. Will this activity actually bring me closer to my main goal? If the honest answer is no, or maybe just indirectly, it's likely busy work. Stop and switch to something that matters more.
That example of Elena, the student, really illustrated this, didn't it?
It did. She spent ages watching grammar videos, felt busy, felt like she was studying, but her writing wasn't improving. Then she switched to just 25 minutes of focused, deep writing practice each morning. No distractions.
And the result?
Dramatic improvement. She wrote more and better in a couple of weeks than in the previous months. That's deep work versus busy work right there.
That's a really clear distinction. But, we often think productivity means just pushing harder, working longer hours. Does the book agree?
Not at all. This is another fascinating insight. Rest isn't the enemy of productivity. It's actually a crucial part of it.
So resting helps you get more done. Seems counterintuitive.
It does, but think about it. The book compares your brain to a battery. You can't run it flat and expect it to perform well. It needs recharging. Rest helps you stay sharp, focused, creative, and avoid burnout.
Okay, so what kind of rest are we talking about? Just sleep.
Sleep is vital, obviously, but the book mentions other types too. Physical rest, like stretching or just relaxing your body. Mental rest, giving your brain a break from problem solving. Creative rest, letting your mind wander. And digital rest, stepping away from screens. There's a great line, step back to move forward.
I like that. Step back to move forward.
Yeah.
How does this apply specifically to learning, like English?
Breaks actually improve learning. Your brain consolidates information during rest periods. Focus plus rest plus repetition, that's the cycle. Short, regular breaks help you absorb what you've studied, prevent mental fatigue, and move information into long-term memory.
So those Pomodoro breaks aren't just about stopping. They're about helping the learning stick.
Exactly. The 50-10 rule, 50 minutes work, 10 break, or 255. But how you break matters too.
Ah, right. What should we do or not do in those breaks?
Definitely don't just switch to scrolling social media. That doesn't really rest your brain. Instead, stretch, get up, drink water, look out the window at something distant, do some deep breathing, things that genuinely refresh your nervous system.
Makes sense. And we shouldn't feel guilty about taking breaks.
Absolutely not. The book is adamant. Rest without guilt. It says, rest isn't a reward you earn after hard work. It's a requirement for hard work. Top performers schedule their breaks. They know it boosts performance. You're not losing time. You're investing in your energy.
Okay, this is all clicking. Time audit, using small moments, morning momentum, deep work, intentional rest. How do we make these things actually stick, make them part of our routine?
Great question. This leads us to building habits that manage time for you. Habits are powerful because they're automatic. Like brushing your teeth, you just do them without draining your willpower.
And willpower gets tired easily.
It really does. Habits, once established, save mental energy, reduce stress, and ensure consistent progress. They basically put good choices on autopilot.
So how do we build these time-saving, goal-achieving habits?
The book talks about the classic habit loop. There are three parts: cue, the trigger that starts the habit; routine, the action itself; and reward, the positive feeling or result that reinforces the loop.
Okay, can you give an example for English learning?
Sure. Let's say your cue is finishing breakfast. Your routine is reviewing 5 new English words using flashcards for 2 minutes. Your reward is feeling proud, maybe putting a check mark on a tracker. Do that consistently and your brain learns. Breakfast finished, time for English words. It becomes automatic.
The key is consistency then.
Absolutely. And the biggest mistake people make, trying to change too much too fast. Aiming for an hour of study right away when you're doing 0.
Yeah, that usually leads to burnout and giving up.
Exactly. So the advice is start small. Stay consistent. Ridiculously small, even. 2 minutes is enough to build the habit muscle. Maybe it's writing 1 English sentence a day, or recording your voice for 1 minute, or learning 3 new words, or 1 5-minute deep focus session.
Just start somewhere and do it every day.
Yes. Consistency is far more important than intensity, especially at the beginning. These habits save time, too. Planning your day the night before, a habit, saves decision fatigue in the morning. Prepping your study materials, a habit, means you can just start. Structure actually creates freedom.
Tracking helps. Seeing the progress.
Definitely. Make it visual. Habit tracking.
Yeah.
A simple calendar, a notebook, an app. Seeing those check marks builds motivation. And the rule, if you slip up, never miss twice, miss 1 day. Fine, life happens. Just make sure you get back on track the next day.
That takes the pressure off perfection.
It does. Like Matteo in the book, he struggled with consistency. So he started with just reading 1 paragraph in English before bed. 2 minutes.
Just 1 paragraph.
Just 1. But he did it every night. Soon 1 paragraph became 2, then a page, then a chapter. 6 months later, he'd finished 3 books in English and felt way more confident. The small habit grew naturally.
That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got all these powerful pieces. How do we weave them together? How do we actually design our whole day for, success and growth?
This brings us to the idea of the success schedule. It's about being intentional with your entire day. The book stresses why scheduling matters. Without some kind of plan, your day tends to happen to you. You react instead of lead. A schedule gives you structure, reduces wasted time deciding what to do next.
But should it be super rigid? Down to the minute.
Not necessarily. The key is to design a day around your energy. We all have times when we're naturally more alert or more tired. Match your most demanding tasks, your deep work, with your peak energy hours. Usually the morning for most people.
Okay, work with your natural rhythm, not against it.
Exactly. Put lighter tasks, meetings, errands in your lower energy periods. Maybe save reflection or relaxed learning for the evening. The book suggests a simple framework. The 3-block day.
3 blocks.
Yeah. Focus time, typically morning for your most important deep work or learning. Flex time, maybe afternoon for tasks that are less demanding or might change meetings, emails, errands. And reflect time, evening, to wind down, review the day, plan the next, maybe some light English practice like watching a show.
Focus, flex, reflect. I like that. Simple structure.
It is. To build your personal success schedule, first, define your 1-3 absolute must-do tasks for the day, or your non-negotiables, like 30 minutes of focused English study. Second, set your anchor times, fixed points like waking up, starting work, dinner, bedtime. Plan around those anchors. Third, use time blocks, not to-do lists. Schedule when you'll do things. So not just read English, but 7.3-year, 8 a.m. English reading.
Block it out on the calendar.
Right. But, and this is crucial, leave room for real life. Don't schedule every single minute. Build in buffer time. A realistic schedule is flexible. And add an evening review ritual, just 5–10 minutes. Ask, what got done? What could be better? What's my number one task for tomorrow? Doing this sets you up for the next day.
That example of Sarah, the student, using the 3-block day was great too.
Yeah, she put English practice in her morning focus block, homework in her flex time, review in her reflect time. Didn't add more hours, just gave them purpose. Result, less stress, more progress. She stopped reacting, started directing her day.
That feels like a fundamental shift in how we see time itself.
It absolutely is. And that leads to the final, really powerful reframe from the book: don't spend time, invest it.
Spend versus invest. What's the core difference there?
Think about money. You can spend it on things that are gone instantly, or invest it in things that grow over time. Time is similar, but even more precious because it's non-renewable. Spending time is like mindlessly watching random videos just to kill time. It's gone, nothing gained. Investing time is maybe watching an English learning video and taking notes, pausing to practice. Use the time, but you got to return knowledge, skill.
So every minute we're either spending or investing.
Pretty much. And time investment creates compound growth, like compound interest financially. Small, consistent investments of time in learning, health, skills, relationships, they build on each other and multiply over time.
That requires conscious choices, doesn't it? Choosing time-rich activities.
It does. Asking yourself, will this activity help me grow? Is this an investment? Helps distinguish time wasters from time investors. The book puts it starkly. Time tells the truth. Look at your calendar. Look at your time audit. It shows what you truly prioritize, regardless of what you say.
Oof, that's direct.
It is. But it's empowering, too. If you want a different result in your life, you need to give your time a different purpose. You need to change your investments. Like Tariq, the father working full-time, no time for classes. But he invested 15 minutes a day in English, listening while cooking, quick notes before bed, voice recording during walks.
Tiny investment.
Tiny, consistent investments. And in 6 months, he was holding conversations confidently. He didn't magically find extra time. He invested the minutes he already had. The return was fluency.
Wow. What a powerful way to rethink everything about our 24 hours. So we've really dug deep today. We've seen the power of just knowing where your time goes with the time audit. We've busted that no time myth. It's about making time in small moments. We talked about kicking off the day with morning momentum, the huge difference between deep work and just being busy, and why rest is actually essential for productivity. Plus, the freedom that comes from building the right habits and how designing your day with a flexible schedule like those 3 blocks puts you in control. It really all boils down to this core message, doesn't it? You don't necessarily need more time. You need to take the time you already have and use it like it actually matters, because it really, really does.
And remember, your future isn't built in the big, grand moments everyone sees. It's built by how you use the minutes no one is watching.
So here's our challenge to you listening. Start today. Don't wait for Monday or the perfect time. Maybe do a quick time audit for the next 24 hours. Build one tiny new habit, just 2 minutes. Use one 5-minute gap for focused learning today. Choose one action right now that invests in the future you want. Do it today, not someday. Your time is your power. Use it wisely.